The Secret of Numa's Ring, a tale from ancient Rome. Beneath the golden sun of ancient Rome, where the Tiber River winds gently through the heart of the eternal city, I warmly welcome everyone to a tale filled with wonder and mystery. A heartfelt hello to all. I hope you're ready to join me on a journey to a time long past, where the air carries the scent of olive oil and freshly baked bread, and the distant sound of temple bells echoes through the bustling streets. Close your eyes and let the gentle lapping of the Tiber's waters, the soft murmur of prayers in the forum, and the warm glow of torchlight wrap around you like a comforting embrace. You're standing atop the Capitoline Hill, the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus rising before you, its marble columns gleaming in the sunlight. But in the whispers of the wind, you hear tales of a young poet and scholar chosen to seek a legendary artifact, a man named Lucius, whose journey will forever be etched in the history of Rome. This story will be long, filled with details to paint a vivid picture, but gentle enough to guide you into a peaceful slumber, where dreams of ancient Rome, sacred relics, and the wisdom of the gods will softly cradle you. Let's begin this journey, as the stars above the eternal city start to twinkle in the night sky. Our journey begins in the city of Rome, in the year 117 CE, during the reign of Emperor Trajan, when the Roman Empire stands at the zenith of its power, its dominion stretching from the misty shores of Britannia in the north to the sun-scorched lands of Dacia in the east. The city of Rome is a sprawling metropolis, a vibrant tapestry of marble and stone, its streets alive with the hum of activity. The sun shines brightly overhead, casting a golden glow over the city, its heat tempered by a gentle breeze that carries the scent of blooming roses from the gardens of the Palatine Hill. The Tiber River flows through the heart of the city, its waters glinting like polished bronze, small boats bobbing on its surface as merchants transport goods to the bustling markets along its banks. The streets of Rome are a symphony of sounds, the clatter of horse-drawn carts rumbling over cobblestones, the shouts of vendors hawking their wares, and the laughter of children playing in the open squares. In the Forum, the heart of Roman civic life, senators in white togas edged with purple debate the affairs of the empire, their voices rising and falling like the tide, while priests in flowing robes offer sacrifices to the gods, the smoke of burning incense rising in thick plumes to the heavens. The Forum is a grand expanse of marble and stone, its temples and basilicas gleaming in the sunlight, their columns adorned with intricate carvings of gods and heroes, victories and triumphs. The Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus looms over the Forum from the Capitoline Hill, its massive marble columns a testament to Rome's power, its golden roof shimmering like the sun itself, a beacon of divine favor. Around the Forum, the markets of Trajan bustle with activity, their stalls shaded by colorful awnings to offer respite from the midday heat. The air is thick with the scents of exotic spices, roasted meats, and freshly baked bread, the aromas mingling with the tang of olive oil and the faint musk of livestock being traded in the nearby cattle market. A middle-aged woman, her dark hair tied back with a red scarf, stands at her stall, her voice rising above the din as she calls out to passers-by. Come, taste the finest olives from the groves of Campania, sweeter than honey, richer than wine. Her hands move deftly as she offers samples, her smile warm as she chats with customers, her laughter a bright note in the market's cacophony. Beside her, an elderly man with weathered hands and a kind smile displays amphorae filled with garum, a fermented fish sauce beloved by Romans, its pungent aroma drawing curious buyers who nod in approval at its sharp, savory flavor. A group of children, dressed in simple tunics of undyed wool, dart through the market, clutching small clay toys in their hands, their laughter a joyful melody as they play a game of tag, weaving between the stalls with the agility of young deer at dawn. The Palatine Hill, the imperial palace of Emperor Trajan, rises in a splendor of marble and gold, its sprawling complex a testament to the wealth and power of the empire. The palace is a labyrinth of courtyards and chambers, its walls adorned with frescoes depicting the triumphs of Rome, legions marching in victory, gods bestowing blessings, and emperors crowned with laurel wreaths. Long corridors are paved with polished marble, their surfaces reflecting the sunlight that streams through tall windows, casting shimmering patterns on the floor that shift with the sun's movement, as if the palace itself is alive with the energy of the gods. Hand-woven tapestries in vibrant colors line the walls, their threads dyed with precious pigments, crimson from madder root, indigo from the eastern provinces, and gold from saffron, each depicting scenes of Roman mythology from the founding of the city by Romulus to the labors of Hercules. In the grand throne room of the palace, Emperor Trajan often sits on a throne of ivory and gold, its surface inlaid with precious gems that catch the light in a dazzling display of color. He wears a purple toga, the color reserved for emperors, its edges embroidered with golden laurel leaves, symbolizing his supreme authority. Trajan is a man of great power, his sharp eyes softened by a contemplative gaze, always seeking ways to expand the empire and ensure its prosperity. He is tall, with a strong, weathered face, his short cropped hair graying at the temples, and a neatly trimmed beard that frames his jaw. A golden laurel crown rests on his head, a symbol of his victories, and in his hand, he holds a scepter topped with an eagle, the emblem of Jupiter, the king of the gods. Beside him, his advisors stand in a line, their white togas edged with purple, their eyes lowered in reverence, their voices a soft murmur as they discuss matters of state. Among the courtiers, one man stands out, Lucius, a young poet and scholar, known for his ability to weave words into verses that capture the beauty of the gods and the glory of Rome. Lucius is not a tall or imposing man, but his presence commands attention, his eyes shining with a quiet wisdom that belies his youth. His voice, though gentle, carries a strange power of persuasion, as if the muses themselves speak through him. He often wears a simple white tunic, its edges embroidered with golden threads in the shape of laurel leaves, a nod to his poetic calling, and a cloak of deep blue wool, the color of the night sky, draped over his shoulders. In his hand, he holds a scroll of parchment, where he records his poems and the prophecies he receives in dreams, his quill always at the ready to capture the words that flow from his mind like a river. His dark brown hair is tied back with a leather cord, and on his finger, he wears a small silver ring engraved with the image of a lyre, a gift from his father, a symbol of his connection to the arts. The people of Rome whisper about him, calling him the poet of the gods, for he is not only a writer, but also a dreamer, a man who can connect with the spiritual world, bridging the gap between the mortal and the divine. Each morning, Lucius leaves his modest home in the Subura district, a bustling neighborhood of narrow streets and crowded tenements, where he lives simply with his widowed mother, a woman named Aurelia, and his younger sister, a girl named Livia. Their home is a small apartment on the third floor of an insula, a multi-story tenement building, its walls made of brick and plaster, the air filled with the scent of baking bread from the bakery downstairs. The apartment is simple but warm, its floors covered with woven rugs in shades of red and blue, and its walls adorned with small frescoes painted by Lucius himself, scenes of the gods, from Jupiter hurling thunderbolts to Venus rising from the sea. A small courtyard at the back of the insula blooms with potted roses and lavender, their fragrance filling the air, and a tiny fountain trickles softly, its water a gentle melody that soothes the soul. A narrow staircase leads from the apartment to the street below, where the sounds of the Subura, vendors shouting, children playing, and the clatter of carts fill the air with life. Aurelia is a woman with a kind face, her warm brown eyes crinkling at the corners when she smiles, and her graying hair tied back with a blue scarf, a few strands escaping to frame her face. She rises early each morning to tend to the household, her hands skilled at weaving wool into fine cloaks, which she sells to the merchants in the forum to support her family. Her fingers move with a rhythm born of years of practice, the loom humming softly as she works, her voice a gentle melody as she hums old Roman songs, tales of heroes and gods that her mother taught her. She often pauses to watch Lucius as he writes, her eyes filled with pride, and says, "My son, the gods have blessed you with a gift. Your words will live forever, like the marble of Rome. Lucius smiles, kissing her hand, and replies, "Thank you, mother. I only hope to honor the gods and our family with my work." Livia, the 12-year-old girl, has her mother's face, with large, curious eyes that sparkle with mischief and a radiant smile that lights up the world around her. Her long brown hair is often tied with a small ribbon dyed with saffron, and she wears a simple woolen dress in a soft shade of blue, the hem embroidered with tiny flowers by her mother's careful hands. She loves to sit by Lucius, watching him write, her fingers tracing the parchment as she listens to his poems. Verses about the beauty of the Tiber at dawn, the majesty of Jupiter's thunder, and the love of Venus for her mortal lovers. Livia often sings as Lucius writes, her voice is clear as a little bell, echoing through the small apartment and drawing smiles from anyone who hears her. One of her favorite songs is a hymn to Vesta, the goddess of the hearth, a melody her mother taught her, its words a prayer for protection and warmth. And as she sings, the fountain in the courtyard seems to join in, its trickling harmonizing with her voice. Lucius steps out of the apartment as the first rays of sunlight touch the Subura, making the cobblestones glisten like polished stone. He walks through the narrow streets, his gaze fixed on the horizon, where the sun rises over the 7 hills of Rome, painting the sky in vibrant shades of gold, orange, and pink, the colors bleeding into one another like a celestial watercolor. He pauses by a small fountain in the street, its water cool and clear, and splashes his face, feeling the freshness against his skin, the scent of lavender from a nearby garden filling his lungs. He whispers a short prayer to Janus, the god of beginnings, his voice soft but reverent. "O Janus, Lord of gates and beginnings, thank you for this new day. Guide my steps as I seek to serve the gods and my city." Then he continues walking, his sandals tapping softly on the cobblestones, the city waking up around him. Its energy a vibrant hum that fills his heart with inspiration. The morning air is fresh, carrying the scent of dew-kissed roses and the faint tang of smoke from cooking fires in the city. Lucius makes his way to the forum, where he often sits, to write, the grandeur of the temples and basilicas a constant source of inspiration. He finds a quiet spot near the Temple of Vesta, a circular structure of white marble, its eternal flame burning brightly within, tended by the Vestal virgins who move silently in their white robes, their faces serene as they offer prayers to the goddess of the hearth. The forum is a grand expanse of marble and stone, its temples and basilicas gleaming in the sunlight, their columns adorned with intricate carvings of gods and heroes, victories and triumphs. The temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus looms over the forum from the Capitoline Hill, its massive marble columns a testament to Rome's power, its golden roof shimmering like the sun itself, a beacon of divine favor. Lucius sits on a stone bench, his parchment open before him, and begins to write, his quill moving with a rhythm born of inspiration, the words flowing like a river from his mind to the page. He writes a poem about the Tiber at dawn, its waters glinting like gold under the first rays of sunlight, the boats bobbing gently on its surface, their sails catching the breeze like the wings of birds. He writes of the gods watching over Rome, their presence felt in the rustle of the wind, the warmth of the sun, and the strength of the marble that surrounds him. The forum is alive around him, the sounds of the city a backdrop to his work, the clatter of carts, the shouts of vendors, and the soft murmur of prayers rising from the temples, a symphony that inspires his verses. One evening, as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, Lucius is summoned to the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus to perform a ritual. The air is warm and heavy with the scent of burning incense, used in rituals to honor the gods, and the city below is alive with the sounds of preparation. Lyres playing haunting melodies, drums beating a steady rhythm, and the soft murmur of prayers rising from the gathered crowd. Lucius climbs the steps to the temple, his blue cloak catching the light, drawing admiring glances from those below. His face is anointed with sacred oil, a ritual marking to honor Jupiter, and in his hand, he holds his scroll, its pages filled with the wisdom of the gods. That night, A thunderstorm brews over Rome, the sky darkening as if Jupiter himself is preparing to speak, the air crackling with electricity. Lightning flashes, illuminating the temple's marble columns, and thunder rumbles, a deep, resonant sound that echoes through the city like the voice of the god. Lucius stands at the altar, his eyes gazing at the sky, where the storm clouds swirl like a celestial dance, their edges lit by flashes of lightning. He offers a prayer to Jupiter, his voice steady despite the storm, carrying the weight of his devotion. O Jupiter Optimus Maximus, King of the gods, protector of Rome, grant me the clarity to understand your will and guide me on your path. Let your light shine upon the eternal city and bless us with your strength. As he finishes the prayer, a bolt of lightning strikes the altar, the flame flaring brightly, and he feels a powerful energy envelop him. As if Jupiter has heard his plea and is reaching out to him across the celestial divide. That night, as Lucius drifts into sleep in his small apartment, the air still heavy with the scent of rain from the storm, a strange dream comes to him. In the dream, he stands in a vast field, the grass stretching out endlessly in all directions, bathed in the light of a stormy sky, lightning flashing overhead, illuminating the world in stark whites and grays. The air is cool, carrying the scent of rain and ozone, and the sky above is a deep gray, roiling with clouds that pulse like living flames. Before him, Jupiter appears, a towering figure with a crown of lightning, his eyes glowing like twin thunderbolts, their light fierce but wise. He wears a golden robe, its surface adorned with patterns of storms and eagles, the fabric shimmering in the lightning's glow like molten gold. In his hand, he holds a shimmering ring, radiating a golden light like the sun itself, its glow casting a gentle halo around him. Jupiter speaks to him in a voice that echoes like thunder, each word resonating with divine power. Lucius, chosen one, your city faces peril. A great plague is coming, and only the Ring of Numa Pompilius, my sacred artifact, can save Rome from darkness. You must find the ring before the Ides of March, or darkness will envelop this land forever. His words are both a command and a warning, and as he speaks, the ring in his hand pulses with light, its glow intensifying with each word, as if it holds the very essence of the god. He points to the north, where a crumbling temple stands on the banks of the Tiber, its marble walls overgrown with ivy, and says, "The ring lies hidden in the temple of Janus, north of the city, near the Tiber's bend. But beware, for only those with a pure heart can touch it. If your heart is not true, the guardian spirits of Rome will punish you." Lucius jolts awake, sweat dripping down his forehead, his heart pounding in his chest. He sits up on his mat, the cool night air brushing against his skin, and looks out the open window of his apartment, where the storm clouds still linger, flashes of lightning illuminating the sky. He knows this dream is more than a dream. It's a prophecy from Jupiter, a sacred mission he cannot refuse. He rises, stepping out into the courtyard, the cobblestones cool beneath his bare feet, and looks up at the sky, where the storm clouds part to reveal a single star, its light a silent promise of guidance. He whispers, "Jupiter, please guide me, so I may protect this city." He returns to his mat, but sleep no longer comes to him, his mind filled with thoughts of the Ring of Numa Pompilius and the journey ahead. The next morning, as the first light of dawn creeps over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Lucius goes to the palace to meet Emperor Trajan, bringing the scroll where he recorded his dream. He walks through the city, the streets already bustling with activity, merchants setting up their stalls, women carrying baskets of bread to the market, and children playing knucklebones in the open squares. The air is filled with the scent of roasting chestnuts, a delicacy favored by Romans in the cooler months, and the sound of lutes playing a morning melody, a prayer to the sun god soul to bless the day. Lucius climbs the steps to the palace, his blue cloak catching the light, drawing admiring glances from those he passes, and enters the grand throne room, where Emperor Trajan sits on his throne, surrounded by his advisors that he kneels before the throne, his eyes lowered in reverence, and speaks, his voice steady despite the weight of his words. "My lord, the god Jupiter Optimus Maximus sent me a dream last night. A great plague is coming, and we need the Ring of Numa Pompilius to save our city. He has tasked me with finding it before the Ides of March, and I request permission to lead a group to retrieve it." Emperor Trajan listens, his sharp eyes narrowing. As he considers Lucius's words, his fingers tracing the golden eagle on his scepter. After a long moment, he nods, his expression a mix of concern and hope, and says, "Lucius, you are a poet of great renown, and the gods have chosen you for this task. I entrust this mission to you. Bring the ring back before the Ides of March, and the gods will bless us with health and prosperity." Lucius rises, bowing deeply, and thanks the emperor, his heart swelling with determination. He leaves the palace, the weight of his mission settling on his shoulders, but also a spark of hope igniting within him, knowing that the gods are with him. He returns home briefly to prepare for the journey, gathering his scroll, a small pouch of dried figs for sustenance, and a silver amulet his mother gave him, carved with the image of an eagle, a talisman for protection. Aurelia, seeing the resolve in her son's eyes, embraces him tightly, her hands trembling as she adjusts his cloak. She says, "My son, the gods have chosen you for a great purpose. Be careful, and may Jupiter watch over you." Livia, standing beside her mother, clings to Lucius's leg, her eyes wide with worry, and says, "Brother, will you come back soon? I'll pray to Vesta every night to keep you safe." Lucius kneels, ruffling her hair, and smiles. "I'll be back before you know it, little star. Pray for me, and I'll feel your love even in the farthest reaches of the empire." He kisses her forehead, then stands, taking one last look at his home, the courtyard bathed in the golden light of dawn. Before heading out to assemble his group, Lucius gathers a small team to aid him on his journey, choosing 2 companions he trusts with his life. The first is Dacia, a skilled archer and scout, known for her sharp eyes and quick reflexes, a woman who has served in Trajan's legions and earned his respect. Dacia is tall and lean, with sun-bronzed skin and a scar across her cheek, a mark from a battle in Dacia. Her presence is commanding, her movements precise, and her green eyes burn with a fierce intensity. She wears a leather tunic dyed with indigo, a short cloak of gray wool draped over her shoulders, and in her hand, she holds a bow carved from yew, its surface polished to a warm sheen. Despite her stern demeanor, Dacia has a deep loyalty to Rome, and she agrees to join the journey out of devotion to the gods and her friend Lucius, whom she has known since their days in the Ludus, the school where they studied as children. "I'll scout the way, Lucius," she says, her voice firm but warm. "No danger will catch us unawares." The second is Marcellus, a wise priest of Janus, known for his knowledge of ancient rituals and his ability to commune with the spirits of Rome's past. Marcellus is a short, stout man, his frame stocky but his presence calming, with gentle blue eyes that seem to see into the soul and a bald head that gleams in the sunlight. He wears a white robe edged with red, the color of Janus, the god of beginnings and endings, and carries a small staff topped with an image of a two-faced head, the emblem of his god. His hands are steady, his voice soft, and his smile is a balm to those in distress. But his eyes hold a quiet strength, a determination born of years of serving the gods. Marcellus agrees to join the journey because he believes the Ring of Numa Pompilius is a sacred relic that must be protected, his voice gentle but resolute. "The gods have spoken, Lucius, and I will stand by you. My knowledge will guide us." The 3 leave Rome at dawn, the city still cloaked in the morning mist, the air cool and heavy with the scent of dew. They travel north along the Via Flaminia, a well-paved road that stretches out from the city, its cobblestones worn smooth by centuries of travelers. The road is lined with cypress trees, their tall, slender forms casting long shadows in the early light, and the air is filled with the scent of pine and the faint tang of the Tiber, which flows nearby. They walk at a steady pace, their sandals tapping softly on the cobblestones, the city fading into the distance behind them, its marble temples and golden roofs a shimmering mirage in the morning haze. The journey is not easy, and they face numerous challenges from the world around them. On the fifth day, a sudden storm brews over the countryside, the sky darkening as if Jupiter himself has unleashed his wrath, the wind howling like a chorus of angry spirits. Rain comes down in torrents, turning the road into a muddy river, and lightning flashes, illuminating the landscape in stark whites and grays, followed by thunder that shakes the earth. The group seeks shelter beneath a massive oak tree, its broad canopy offering some protection from the deluge, the rain drumming on the leaves like 1,000 tiny drums. Lucius stands under the tree, watching the rain fall, feeling the coolness of the droplets on his face, the scent of wet earth filling his lungs. He says to the group, his voice steady despite the storm, "Jupiter is testing us, but we must press on. The ring awaits us." Dacia, her sharp eyes scanning the horizon for signs of danger, nods, her bow at the ready, while Marcellus pulls a small clay amulet from his pouch, whispering a prayer to Janus for safe passage, his voice a soft murmur that blends with the sound of the rain. One night, as they camp beside a small stream, the moonlight reflecting on the water like a silver ribbon, they encounter a pack of wolves, their eyes glowing like twin flames in the darkness, their low growls sending a shiver down their spines. Dacia, ever the scout, grabs her bow, standing between the group and the beasts, her muscles tense, ready to strike. The wolves pace, their gray coats blending with the shadows, their movements silent and predatory. Lucius, sensing the animals' sacred nature, wolves are revered by the Romans as symbols of Romulus, the founder of Rome, whispers a prayer to Mars, the god of war, asking for safe passage. Marcellus, his hands steady despite the danger, pulls a small pouch of dried herbs from his bag, sprinkling them into the fire, the smoke rising in a thick plume, its scent sharp and pungent, driving the wolves back into the forest. The group breathes a sigh of relief, their hearts still pounding, and Dacia lowers her bow, her respect for Lucius and Marcellus deepening. The countryside is full of other dangers, bandits hiding in the hills, their daggers gleaming with menace. Wild boars charging through the underbrush, their tusks sharp and deadly, and bridges that collapse underfoot, forcing them to find new paths through dense forests where thorns tear at their clothes and skin. Marcellus proves invaluable, using his knowledge of ancient rituals to ward off evil spirits, chanting prayers to Janus at each crossroads, his voice a calming presence that soothes their fears. Dacia's sharp eyes and quick reflexes keep them safe from ambushes, her arrows finding their mark with deadly precision, while Lucius's wisdom guides them, his understanding of the stars helping them navigate the winding roads by night. After many days of travel, they finally reach the crumbling temple of Janus, north of the city, near a bend in the Tiber. The temple is a forgotten relic, its marble walls cracked and overgrown with ivy, the statues of Janus at its entrance weathered by time, their two faces, one looking to the past, the other to the future, barely discernible. The air is thick with the scent of damp stone and the faint tang of the river, the sound of the Tiber's gentle lapping a soothing backdrop to the temple's eerie silence. Lucius stands before the temple, feeling a powerful energy, as if Janus himself is guiding him. He says to the group, his voice steady, "This is the place Jupiter showed me in my dream. The ring must be inside." The group enters the temple, stepping carefully over broken stones, the air cold and heavy with the weight of history. The interior is a labyrinth of chambers and corridors, its walls carved with images of the Roman gods, Jupiter, Juno, and Janus, their stern faces illuminated by the faint light filtering through cracks in the stone. The silence is broken only by the drip of water echoing from somewhere deep within, and the group moves cautiously, their footsteps soft on the stone floor. The light from small crevices in the ceiling casts eerie shadows on the walls, making the carvings seem to move, as if the gods themselves are watching their every step. In the center of the temple, on a stone altar, is a passage leading deeper underground, where Lucius believes the Ring of Numa Pompilius is hidden. But before they can proceed, a group emerges from the shadows, traitors from Rome, led by a man named Gaius, a former senator who once served Trajan but was exiled for treason. Gaius is a tall, imposing man, his face lined with bitterness, his cold eyes glinting with greed. He wears a tattered toga, its once white fabric stained with dirt, and carries a gladius, its blade polished to a deadly sheen. He had heard of the Ring of Numa Pompilius and sought to claim it for himself, intending to use its power to overthrow Trajan and seize the throne. He steps forward, his voice a low growl. "Lucius, poet, I've followed you all this way. Give me the Ring of Numa Pompilius, or none of you will leave this temple alive." Lucius stands firm, his eyes meeting Gaius's, his voice steady. "Gaius, the ring belongs to the gods, not to you. I will not let you take it." Cassia steps forward, her bow raised, ready to fight, while Marcellus grips his staff, his eyes filled with determination. The tension in the air is palpable, the silence broken only by the distant lapping of the Tiber, as the two groups prepare for a battle that will determine the fate of the Ring of Numa Pompilius. Lucius, Cassia, and Marcellus facing Gaius and his group, their hearts filled with hope, but also fear of the dangers ahead, and of the guardian spirits of Rome that Jupiter had warned them about. The storm clouds gather overhead, a reminder that the king of the gods is still watching, guiding them on their path. In the dim, cold interior of the crumbling temple of Janus, hidden near a bend in the Tiber River, the air was heavy with the scent of damp stone and the faint tang of moss. Faint beams of moonlight filtered through the cracks in the ancient walls, casting eerie, shifting patterns on the worn marble floor, where moss had begun to creep over the edges, softening the once sharp lines of Roman craftsmanship. The distant lapping of the Tiber's waters echoed through the temple, a gentle, rhythmic sound that seemed almost like a lullaby, but it was drowned out by the sharp, tense breathing of the two groups standing face to face. Lucius, Cassia, and Marcellus stood together, their silhouettes stark against the flickering light, facing Gaius and his band of traitors. The storm clouds outside rumbled ominously, as if Jupiter himself was watching the confrontation unfold, his divine presence a looming reminder of the stakes at hand. Thunder rolled in the distance, a deep, resonant sound that vibrated through the stone walls, and flashes of lightning illuminated the carved faces of Janus on the walls, his two faces, one looking to the past and the other to the future, watching over the unfolding drama with an eternal, unyielding gaze. Gaius stepped forward, his cold eyes glinting with greed, the scars on his face twisting as he sneered. He was a tall, imposing figure, his once pristine toga now tattered and stained. With dirt from days of travel, the crimson edges faded to a dull brown. In his hand, he gripped a gladius, its blade polished to a deadly sheen, reflecting the faint moonlight in sharp, menacing glints. His voice was a low growl, filled with malice. "Lucius, you naive poet, you think you can defy me? I've tracked you all the way from Rome for this ring. Hand over the Ring of Numa Pompilius, or I'll cut you down where you stand." His words were laced with venom, his grip tightening on the hilt of his sword, his stance that of a predator ready to strike. Behind him, his men, hardened mercenaries with weathered faces and patched armor, shifted restlessly, their own weapons drawn, their eyes darting between Gaius and the trio, waiting for the signal to attack. Lucius stood his ground, his blue cloak swaying slightly in the draft that swept through the temple, his scroll clutched tightly in his hand, a symbol of his connection to the divine will of Jupiter. His dark brown eyes met Gaius's with unwavering resolve, and though his heart pounded with the weight of the moment, his voice was steady, resonant with conviction. "Gaius, the Ring of Numa Pompilius does not belong to you. It is a sacred artifact of Jupiter, meant to protect Rome from the coming plague. I will not let you defile its purpose, even if it means facing death." Beside him, Cassia notched an arrow to her bow, her green eyes narrowing as she aimed at Gaius, her stance firm, her muscles taut with readiness. Her voice was sharp, cutting through the tension like a blade. "One step closer, traitor, and my arrow will find your heart." Marcellus, clutching his staff topped with the two-faced emblem of Janus, stood on Lucius's other side, his gentle blue eyes filled with determination, his voice a soft prayer. May Janus guard us in this moment of trial, and may Jupiter's will be done. The air crackled with tension, the silence between the two groups stretching taut like a bowstring, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder and the steady drip of water echoing from somewhere deep within the temple. Then, with a roar, Gaius lunged forward, his gladius slashing through the air toward Lucius, the blade a deadly arc of silver in the moonlight. Cassia released her arrow with a twang, the projectile whistling through the air and grazing Gaius's shoulder, drawing a thin line of blood that stained his tattered toga. He growled in pain but pressed his attack, his men surging forward behind him, their weapons raised, their shouts filling the temple. With a cacophony of violence, a fierce battle erupted in the shadowy confines of the temple, the clash of steel against steel reverberating off the ancient walls, the sound mingling with the grunts and cries of the combatants. Cassia moved with the grace of a panther, her bow singing as she loosed arrow after arrow, each one finding its mark with deadly precision, felling Gaius's men one by one. Her leather tunic hugged her frame, allowing her to move swiftly, dodging the clumsy swings of a mercenary's club, and she drew a dagger from her belt, slashing at another attacker, her movements a blur of controlled fury. Marcellus, though not a warrior, used his staff to defend himself, his movements slow but deliberate, his prayers to Janus a steady chant that seemed to bolster the group's spirits, as if the god of beginnings was indeed watching over them. He struck a mercenary's leg with his staff, sending the man stumbling, and whispered, "Janus, open the path to victory, and close the door to defeat." Lucius, untrained in combat, relied on his wits to aid his companions. He ducked behind a fallen column, his eyes scanning the temple for anything that might give them an advantage. The floor was littered with broken stones, remnants of the temple's former glory, and he noticed a series of faded carvings near the altar, glyphs depicting the two faces of Janus, their eyes hollowed out as if meant to hold something. He realized they might be part of a trap mechanism designed to protect the sacred relic within. Shouting to Cassia, he pointed to the carvings. "Cassia, aim for the eyes of Janus on the floor. There might be a trap." Cassia nodded, her sharp eyes locking onto the target, and she loosed an arrow, striking one of the hollowed eyes. A low rumble echoed through the temple, and a section of the floor slid open, revealing a hidden pit filled with sharpened stakes, into which two of Gaius's men fell, their screams echoing as they met their fate. But Gaius was relentless, his fury driving him forward despite the chaos. He charged at Lucius, his gladius aimed for his heart, his face contorted with rage. "You'll die for this, poet." Lucius dodged at the last moment, the blade grazing his arm, leaving a thin line of blood that stained his white tunic. The pain was sharp, but he ignored it, his focus on the altar where he believed the ring of Numa Pompilius was hidden. Marcellus, seeing Lucius in danger, swung his staff at Gaius, striking him in the back of the knees, forcing him to stumble. Gaius roared in frustration, turning on Marcellus, but Cassia was faster, her dagger flashing as she slashed at Gaius's arm, forcing him to drop his gladius, the weapon clattering to the stone floor with a sharp, metallic ring. With Gaius momentarily disarmed, Lucius seized the opportunity to reach the altar, his hands trembling as he touched the cold marble surface. The altar was carved with images of Jupiter, his eagle perched beside him, and in the center was a small, circular indentation, just the size of a ring. Lucius pressed his fingers into the indentation, feeling a faint click, and a hidden compartment slid open, revealing the ring of Numa Pompilius. The ring was a simple band of gold, its surface engraved with the image of an eagle clutching a thunderbolt, and it glowed with a faint, golden light, as if infused with the power of Jupiter himself. Lucius lifted the ring, feeling a surge of energy course through him, a warmth that seemed to radiate from the ring into his very soul, as if the god was speaking to him through the artifact. But before he could secure the ring, Gaius recovered, snatching a fallen dagger from one of his men and lunging at Lucius with a feral snarl. "The ring?" is mine. Lucius clutched the ring tightly, dodging Gaius's attack, but the traitor's dagger caught him in the shoulder, the blade sinking deep, sending a jolt of pain through his body. He cried out, stumbling back, blood soaking his tunic, but he refused to let go of the ring, his fingers tightening around it, as if his life depended on it. Cassia, seeing Lucius injured, let out a fierce cry and tackled Gaius, her dagger slashing at his chest, forcing him to the ground. Marcellus rushed to Lucius's side, his hands steady as he tore a strip of cloth from his robe, pressing it to the wound to stem the bleeding, his voice a soft prayer. Jupiter, protect your chosen one. Let his light endure. Gaius, pinned beneath Cassia, struggled violently, his strength fueled by desperation. He managed to throw her off, grabbing his fallen gladius and swinging it at her with a roar. But Cassia was faster, rolling to the side and loosing an arrow that struck Gaius in the chest, piercing his heart. He gasped, his eyes wide with shock, and collapsed to the ground, his lifeblood pooling on the stone floor, his greed extinguished. At last, the remaining mercenaries, seeing their leader fall, fled in terror, their footsteps echoing through the temple until silence returned, broken only by the gentle lapping of the Tiber outside and the soft drip of water within. Lucius, clutching the ring, leaned against the altar, his breathing ragged, the pain in his shoulder a constant throb. Marcellus finished bandaging the wound, his hands gentle, and said, "You'll be all right, Lucius. The gods are with us." Cassia, her chest heaving from the fight, wiped the blood from her dagger and knelt beside Lucius, her eyes filled with concern but also pride. "You did it, Lucius. The ring is safe." Lucius managed a weak smile, the golden glow of the ring warming his hand, and whispered, "We did it together. Jupiter guided us, and now we must bring the ring back to Rome." The group left the temple, the storm outside having subsided, the sky clearing to reveal a canopy of stars, their light a silent promise of hope. They traveled south along the Via Flaminia, the journey back to Rome fraught with challenges, bandits in the hills, swollen rivers from the recent rains, and Lucius's worsening wound, which slowed their pace. Marcellus used his knowledge of ancient remedies to treat Lucius, brewing teas from herbs they gathered along the way, while Cassia scouted ahead, her sharp eyes ensuring their safety. The countryside was a patchwork of rolling hills and vineyards, the air filled with the scent of ripe grapes and wild thyme, the distant bleating of sheep a gentle backdrop to their journey. Throughout the journey, Lucius felt the power of the Ring of Numa Pompilius, its golden glow a constant reminder of Jupiter's presence. He often stopped at night, when the stars lit the sky, placing the ring on a flat stone, its light illuminating the heavens, highlighting constellations like the Eagle and the Lyre. He felt the ring's energy, as if Jupiter were speaking to him through its glow, guiding him on his path. One night, as they camped beside a small stream, the moonlight reflecting on the water like a silver ribbon, Lucius had another dream. In the dream, he stood in the Forum of Rome, the ring of Numa Pompilius glowing on his finger, and a great storm broke over the city, but the ring's light drove back the darkness, bringing healing to the people. Jupiter appeared before him, his smile as radiant as the sun, and said, "Lucius, you have fulfilled your mission. The ring will save Rome, but you must protect it, for darkness will always seek to claim the light." Lucius awoke, his heart filled with hope, and shared the dream with Cassia and Marcellus. He said, "Jupiter has confirmed we're on the right path. The ring will save Rome from the plague." Cassia nodded, her eyes filled with trust, and said, "We must hurry back. The people are waiting for us." Marcellus smiled, his eyes full of faith. "I believe in you, Lucius. The gods are with us." After many days of travel, the group finally returned to Rome, arriving just before the Ides of March. The city was in a state of fear, whispers of a plague spreading through the Subura, the first signs of illness already taking hold. Lucius, Cassia, and Marcellus went straight to the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, where Emperor Trajan awaited them. The forum was filled with people, their faces pale with worry, their prayers a soft murmur that rose to the heavens. Lucius knelt before Trajan, presenting the Ring of Numa Pompilius, its golden glow illuminating the temple, driving back the shadows of fear. Trajan took the ring, placing it on the altar, and a great light filled the temple, a sign of Jupiter's favor. The plague receded, the city spared from disaster, and the people of Rome sang songs of praise to Jupiter, honoring Lucius as a hero. But Lucius knew the ring's power could attract others with greedy hearts. He advised Trajan to hide it in a secret chamber beneath the temple, known only to the highest priests. Trajan agreed, and the ring was placed in a marble box, sealed with a prayer to Jupiter, and hidden deep beneath the Capitoline Hill. Lucius carved a stone tablet recounting his journey, hoping that one day, those worthy would find the ring and understand its purpose. The tablet read, "I, Lucius, poet of Rome, have fulfilled the will of Jupiter. The ring of Numa Pompilius is the light of the gods, but also the burden of those who protect it. Only those with a pure heart can wield its power, and only Jupiter can keep it safe." The ring of Numa Pompilius continued its journey through the centuries. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE, a priest of Jupiter, fearing the ring would be lost to invaders, took it to a hidden cave in the Apennine Mountains, concealing it in a niche sealed with wax, hoping it would remain safe. Over the centuries, the ring was forgotten, but its legend lived on in Roman lore, whispered in taverns and written in ancient texts, a tale of a poet who saved the eternal city. Thousands of years later, on May 20th, 2025, a team of archaeologists, led by Dr. Giulia Rossi, an Italian historian, arrived at the Capitoline Hill to explore newly discovered ruins beneath the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus. Giulia was a tall, slender woman with long black hair tied in a neat braid, her bright hazel eyes filled with passion for history. She wore a white blouse and a wide-brimmed hat to shield her from the sun, her notebook always in hand, filled with sketches and notes of her findings. Her team included archaeologists from around the world, all eager to uncover the secrets of ancient Rome. In a hidden chamber beneath the temple, Julia's team found Lucius's stone tablet, its surface weathered but the Latin script still legible, recounting the story of the Ring of Numa Pompilius. Though they didn't find the ring, they discovered a fresco on the chamber wall, depicting Lucius standing in the forum, the ring glowing on his finger, a storm breaking overhead but the light, driving back the darkness. The fresco was painted with natural pigments, red from ochre, blue from lapis lazuli, and gold from saffron. And despite millennia, the colors remained vivid, as if painted mere days ago. Julia, reading the tablet, felt a deep connection to Lucius, as if his spirit lingered in the chamber. She sat beside the tablet, her flashlight illuminating the ancient script, and whispered, "Lucius, you fulfilled your mission. Your story will be told, and we will preserve your legacy." She decided not to search for the ring, fearing the guardian spirits of Rome might still protect it, and instead focused on documenting and preserving Lucius's story, ensuring the world would know of the courage and wisdom of the Romans. The story ends in a small village near Rome, on a moonlit night, May 20th, 2025. The villagers gathered around a fire, the flames illuminating their faces, the air filled with the scent of burning olive wood and the sound of children's laughter. An elderly man, his white hair glowing in the firelight, his wise eyes reflecting the flames, told the children the legend of Lucius's ghost. He said that on moonlit nights, if you stood near the Capitoline Hill, you might hear a poet's verse carried on the wind, a song to Jupiter, and see the silhouette of a young man in a blue cloak, standing under the moonlight, guarding an eternal secret. The children, their eyes wide with wonder, listened to the old man's tale, their hearts racing with curiosity and excitement. A girl with curly black hair and a bright smile took her brother's hand, a boy with wide, curious eyes, and whispered, "Brother, it's a full moon tonight. Let's go to the hill and see if Lucius's ghost is real." He nodded, his eyes sparkling with excitement, and the siblings held hands, stepping out into the silvery moonlight. The village was quiet, with only the sound of crickets and rustling leaves in the breeze. As they walk to the hill, their small figures dwarfed by the ancient ruins. They stood near the temple of Jupiter, the cool night breeze ruffling their hair, the full moon casting a glow on the marble, making it shimmer like silver. They listened for Lucius's verse, hoping to see his silhouette, but there was only the moonlight and the wind, a gentle lullaby echoing through the night. Though they saw no ghost, they smiled, feeling the magic of the story in the air, as if Lucius was still there, watching over them from the other side. They held hands, returning home, and as they drifted into sleep, their dreams were filled with images of Rome, the gods, and a poet who carried the light of Jupiter as the sun sets over ancient Rome, casting a golden glow across the Tiber River. Lucius stands atop the Capitoline Hill, his hand touching a cool marble column, his gaze fixed on the horizon where the sun god's soul sinks into slumber. The sound of the Tiber's gentle lapping fills the air, a soothing lullaby echoing through the city, while stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, their light reflecting on the water like scattered jewels. Whether the Ring of Numa Pompilius truly exists or is merely a legend, Lucius's story reminds us of the power of human wisdom and the connection to the divine. Let the sound of flowing water, the city breeze, and the gentle light of ancient Rome lull you into sleep. Dream of a temple reaching for the sky, where gods whisper secrets, and a man named Lucius leaves an enduring legacy. Wishing you a peaceful night, with dreams of Rome, ancient relics, and a ring that forever shines with the light of Jupiter.